Well, good morning. I'm out on my morning walk. And yesterday something interesting happened, which has been consistently happening since we launched Become the Person Your Future Requires. I've been getting this question pretty consistently since launching Become. And so I wanted to answer it here and now so that everyone would have a clear understanding of what it is we're trying to accomplish, how we can help those individuals who feel stuck. So the question is, what is Become? And what exactly are you measuring when we take your assessment? And the truth is, it's really one question broken into two parts, but that's neither here nor there. What we're measuring is various different areas and modalities known as domains. And while I'm not going to go through all of the domains, I want to give you just 3 of the domains that we measure so that you understand what it is we're trying to do in order to help you get to the future, to help you become the person your future requires. And so, domain number 1 is identity alignment. Right? What is identity alignment? Well, it is the difference between who you say you want to be, right, the person in the future, and who you are right now, right? And it's the gap between those two individuals. Whether we know it or not, whether we'll admit it or not, there is a gap between who you are right now and who you're required to be in order to attain the future that you want. And so the identity alignment says, does your behavior today align with the person you're trying to become? Right? What are you doing consistently that will help you become that person? Right? A lot of people say, well, I want to save money. I want to manage my money better. I want to be out of debt. I want to do X, Y, Z. Well, are you that person today? Right? Have you taken steps and done the things, right, to move you toward that person? And so that's identity alignment, right? Am I delusional about the person I want to become? Or am I intentional about that person? The second domain we measure is behavioral consistency, right? Which aligns with identity alignment, right? Do I say, well, I want to be debt free? Do I start saving money for a month and then the next month spend all the money I'm saving? Am I a person who says, I want to get in shape and go to the gym for a week, 2, maybe even a month, and then I'm not at the gym for another 6 months? Am I a person who says, I want to start a business, and yet never taken any steps, right, to get that business started, or at least to learn what's required to start a business, right? And so, is my behavior consistent with the person that I say I want to be in the future, right? And so, it's important that we understand, right, what our behavior is helping us become, right? What do I do consistently now that will help me become the person that I say I want to be? And if we can't identify anything, then our behavior consistency is not in alignment with our identity, or with the identity we say we want, right? We see how that works? And so the third one I want to talk about is future vision, right? Future vision. The question is, when it comes to future vision, right, do I have a clear picture of the person I want to become? Do I really know what it is I want to achieve in the next 30, 60, 90 days, 120 days, a year from now? Do I have a clear picture of who that person is? Because if I don't have a clear picture of who that person is, then what ends up happening is I end up giving myself permission to not do anything, right? People say all the time, man, I would love to be a millionaire. Well, no, you don't, right? Because if you would love to be a millionaire, right, you would take the action today that is required. You would take step number 1 today that is required, and you would consistently take those steps until you got there, right? It's like saying, I'm going on a road trip. Okay, where are you going? I'm going here. When are you going to get there? I don't know. I'm just going. Well, how does that make any sense, right? Normally when we take a road trip, particularly today, back in the day before cell phones and GPS and all that stuff, we would get out the road map, the atlas, and we would use it to map out the coordinates, map out a plan. We're going to take this highway to that highway. We're going to have to take this highway. This looks like it'll be a shorter route. Might not be interstate travel, but might get us there quicker, right? But now, we plug in an address to the GPS, and the GPS comes up, and typically it gives us some options. It'll typically say something like, if you take this route, right, it'll show you various different routes, and it'll show you exactly the time that's required to get there. And so you choose based on the time in which you want to arrive. And so once you choose, right, once you set that course, you get very specific details. Start here, turn left in 300 feet, 600 feet, 1 mile, take exit such and such, right? And so future vision says, this is where I want to go, and this is the time I would like to arrive, right? And so that's very specific. The person your future requires also requires a very specific vision, future vision. And so the 3 of the multiple domains that we actually measure, I'll recap for you. It's identity alignment, it is behavioral consistency, and it is future vision, right? And so if your identity does not align with the person your identity today does not align with the person you want to become, the person your future requires, then you might want to evaluate that, right? You might want to evaluate, well, why is it that I'm saying I want to do these things, and yet my behavior doesn't move me toward that person? You might want to evaluate your behavioral consistency. I keep starting and stopping. I keep starting and stopping. I keep starting and stopping. Well, let's discover why. Why are you starting and stopping? What's going on there that's causing you to be inconsistent in your behavior, and yet still saying that you want to accomplish and or achieve this? And future vision, right? Future vision is very specific. It's measurable, right? It's achievable, right? It's rational. There's a timeline associated with it, right? Because people say, well, I want to make $1 million. Well, that's great. If you work 40 years and make $25,000 a year, you've made $1 million, right? But does that make you a millionaire? Absolutely not. But if you work 1 year and make $1 million, does that make you a millionaire? Absolutely. And so it's important, right, that you put timelines in place. And what timelines do is help you realize if you're on course, if you need to speed it up, if you're ahead of the game and you can kind of relax a bit, right? The GPS tells you, hey, you're supposed to arrive at this time. If you've been driving, if it says to you, you will arrive at your destination in 8 hours flat. Well, if you've been driving 4 hours and you're not at least halfway there, what you do know is you're behind schedule. If you've been driving 4 hours and you're more than halfway there, well, then you know you're ahead of schedule. And so those are the three of the domains, I should say, that we measure when it comes to the behavioral assessment that we do. And so go to thepersonyourfuturerequires.com, create you an account. It's free to do so, and take the assessment. Now there's a snapshot assessment, which is only 12 questions, and it'll give you a brief synopsis of, that's why it's called a snapshot, of what action you can take today, right? It'll spit out free of charge. Do this, you should do this today. Depending on the time of day you do it. If you do it in the morning, it'll tell you, by noon, do this, right? But if you want a full assessment, right, it only costs $9.97 right now, because once again, we're in the beta testing phase. And so you can get a full assessment and an actual roadmap, complete with action steps. This is not just a label. Like I said, it's not just a personality test. It is complete with action steps that tells you, do this by this time. It's a journal that comes with it, and you can track your growth, track your movements. And it only costs you $9.97. And so if you want to go further, there are also other options there on the app. thepersonyourfuturerequires.com. It's not in the App Store yet because we're still beta testing. And so we want you to definitely become a founding member. First 50 people who sign up. I'm not sure how many founding member spots are left. They're moving fast, and so I encourage you to get on it. The first 50 members that sign up become founding members. And those founding members will receive lifetime 25% discount on all products and services, early access to all future products and services. And then there'll be exclusive founding member only products and services for being an early adopter, for jumping on early and helping us build this platform. What we want from founding members is that you would tell us, what you think could be improved, where we can be better, where we can serve better. Because our desire ultimately is to help you become the person that your future requires. You all have a good day. Let me go finish my walk.